Hello, I'm Mynilla, the conductor of the Train of Madness, and welcome back to Dark Souls 3. We had some technical issues, which really just means that I'm an idiot and I forgot to turn my microphone on, so I'm doing a voiceover recording right now. We're going to go to Irithyll, and we're going to push through without Squingiel. He's not here today. He went to see, spend time with his family. So I'm doing this solo, and I get very frustrated towards the end of the area. So for now, we're going to press on to Irithyll, and we're going to cross the bridge, but we have to deal with a problem before we can cross the bridge, which is a dog rat like creature. He fades in on his own. I think I got it on the recording, and what we're going to do is we're going to take care of him, because if you don't, there's boggy waters underneath that make your character very slow, and he'll jump off the bridge and he'll come after you, and then that's no fun. It's really just aggravating. Here I just realized I didn't put Tears on, and I love Tears of Denial, so I go ahead and put that on because my character doesn't have a lot of health for the game. He's actually got minimalistic amount of health. Can pretty much get one-shotted by really powerful strength builds, or, a critical stab from a parry or anything. So here we are. This is the infamous bridge, and coming up is going to be our rat friend with 6 eyes. Yeah. There he is. And pretty much, I start this fight, and I'm like, alright, no big deal, rat creature. I fought him so many times. And then I remember he just becomes a staple normal enemy at one point. Not like completely staple normal enemy, but like, you end up having to go to an area that has a secret bonfire, and that secret bonfire has 3 of these guys in there. So like, this big challenge of beating these giant rat creatures becomes less of an achievement in the long run of it, because of the fact that they just crammed 3 of them cheaply in a small area. So here I see that we get invaded, and I'm like, great, I'm invaded. I'm on the bridge with this dog. Maybe this guy will like see if I die to the rat creature and give me a chance to heal and kill this guy and maybe even fight him. So I'm struggling. I'm like, the worst thing I'm thinking is that this guy is walking over, taking his sweet time walking over to kill me. And then after a while, I'm like, okay, I just gotta kill him fast. So I get that over with, and then I'm like, he didn't come over. And I can see him in the distance. So I'm walking towards him. I'm like, hey, trying to be friendly, seeing if he's one of those dirtbag invaders that do cheap things when you're trying to be nice and all that. And he's not moving, so I'm completely confused on what's going on at this point. And I'm like, no, maybe he's just messing with me. Maybe he's pretending to be AFK. And then I try to light the bonfire. Then I realize, oh yeah, you can't light the bonfire when there's invaders. Bonfires become deactivated completely when there's invaders, which sucks. So I'm like trying to get him to interact with me, and he's not doing anything, this person. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna swing at them and see if they move. And I go ahead and kind of like try to gesture him a couple more times, but then I'm like, I'm just gonna hit him. I'm just gonna hit him and see what happens. And it was actually a delight for me to realize that this guy completely started an invasion and then went AFK, like made themselves a sandwich or something, but they were just not there. Which made me so happy, because I was like, okay, I'm just gonna backstab you, see if that antagonizes you. Nothing happens, so I'm like, alright, I'm just gonna kill you then. So at this point, I get the bonfire, the invader is gone, makes me happy, and I go back. The reason I'm going back is because our friend Sirius from earlier, she's got a summon sign down here where you can go help her. So I want to do that because then there's an NPC invader that comes later on in this area. So I'm trying to get the most out of my run. I go to help Sirius, and it goes as good as you might think the first time around, because I'm a little too confident in my character's abilities, when really his damage output is lacking, and he has really weak armor on, and I should know better than to get confident when it comes to this. Anyways, the guy who's invading is a Rosaria Finger, and he has a really strong axe that has electricity already applied. So it's a faith weapon, which is something that I would like to have. But he also just is taking no damage from either of us as we're fighting him. We're both pretty much throwing stones his way, and we have to pretty much gank, as some people would call it. We have to gank him because he's just taking all this damage, and he smacks me like once or twice, and it practically kills me, which is really annoying. But I mean, Dark Souls being Dark Souls, everything is unfairly challenging. I shouldn't say unfairly. It's tough but fair. Sometimes it feels kind of cheap. Like I said, like the rat creatures come later on, and those guys are unfairly placed, 3 of them, into a tight area, and you have to draw them into this tiny tight space to fight them one-on-one. There's plenty of things like that. This area, as I was saying as I was fighting, was that this area has a lot of ambushes, like ridiculous ambushes set up to get you off guard. And you know, the NPC characters here hit like a truck, all of them, especially with how much health my character has. So here I go, getting all confident, and I'm about to die because I'm like, oh no, I can take him. I can take him. Oh, this might actually be the second time. Nope. See, here it comes. Boom. So what he did is he ran into me, and that rush into me puts me into a stagger, which means that his damage that he does to me is critical when he hits me. So that pretty much finishes me off, and I'm like, oh really? So that's how that's going to be. And I decide to go back, because it's not like a one and done chance. You can do it multiple times. So Dark Souls isn't jipping you off there about storyline quest moments that are nice. You know, that's nice of them to not rob you of a story moment because of the fact that you screwed up. Which, like in their first game, the NPCs, if you so much as smack them on an accident, would just they're aggro. That's it. Game over. You know, they're never your friends ever again. But I come back into this fight and I'm like, okay, well, since my big weapon is draining all my stamina, I'm just gonna use the spear. I'm gonna just stab him. I'm just gonna ruthlessly stab him. I'm gonna be super aggressive. I'm gonna keep hitting him, chip away at his health, not give him a chance to really heal, and not give him a chance to really mess with Eris, because if he kills Eris, that also fails the story situation that's going on here right now, and then I have to do it again. Also, I want to help Eris because there's an item that she has that she's going to give me afterwards, and I really want it. And that is the cat ring. The cat ring is like one of the best rings in the game. It makes it so that way that from high heights you won't take fall damage no matter what, unless you do like a drop that will kill you. If you do a drop that would guarantee kill your character, then you're not going to live. You're going to hit the ground. You're going to die, regardless of the cat ring's effect. So I helped Eris here, and she's like, thank you. And pretty much I go back to my world, and the first thing I do, I think, is I actually run to Firelink Shrine to get that item, because I really want that ring. It's a fantastic ring, and I don't think I could ever play through Dark Souls without it. So that you see this weird wall effect and the whole bubble thing that's going to happen when I run through. This area has a magic barrier, and I won't be able to get through it if I didn't have the doll from going to the church to fight the Deacons of the Deep, who worshipped Aldrich. Pontiff Sullivan is the one that gave him the doll, is what's speculated by the community, and it allows you to get through this magical barrier to Irithyll. Otherwise, you would come here, and you wouldn't be able to proceed any further. I honestly, my first time through the game, didn't know where I was going. I ended up going to the deacons the right way first, and then I was like, where do I go afterwards? Because I didn't know where we're supposed to proceed after that to get to like the other sections of the game. It took me a while, but I eventually found the Abyss Watchers, which allowed me to um, get through to Irithyll, and then I was like, oh, cool. So the barrier will actually stop the dog if you run through it.
You have my deepest gratitude. If you require help on your travels, I offer you my sign. Blessing of the moon upon your journey.
So from this point on, I have to proceed carefully through the entire area because the NPCs, like I said, they hit really hard, which just destroys your health. And then there's tons of setup situations where you're always outnumbered. It's like 2 hits and I'm almost dead right there. And then they have projectiles. All of them here have projectiles, I think, except for there's a set of dudes that don't. And even if you get the parry right, sometimes the game will say you still got hit, even if you get the parry. You can actually see that coming up here. I block one of the guys. I parry one of them. And even though I parry them, I still take that damage from their attack. I don't think I take full damage, but I took a significant amount of damage from when I actually parried this guy. Yeah, I don't take the full damage, but I took a significant amount. It's a weird thing where the game's still punishing you, even though you might got the parry window right. The fact that you're parrying an attack that's coming from the opposite side doesn't, like... If you parry, I think that if you get the parry, you get in the window, you should be able to get no damage from that. The game doesn't think that way. It makes it more challenging to be skilled and be able to do those things. And all these NPCs in this area have flowing attacks that can just be stacked on top of them over and over and over again. They're able to just punish you. If you make a mistake, they're able to just punish you with these attacks. And like that spinning sword attack actually increases their range about double of what they already have. So I'm coming up here, and like I said, this area is loaded with ambushes. So there's these guys over here, right? If you're not paying attention, you won't notice them because when they close their eyes, they go invisible. And then you have the witch here, and 3 guys with her, and then you have another 3 guys that's just like coming down the path after them, and then another witch after that up on the ledge that will aggro if you just run into that situation. So instead of doing that, I decide to be smart about it, and then I move back down from where I came, and I was like, I'm gonna put back on tears, I'm gonna heal myself up with my heal spell, so that way I have the flasks which do the fast heal. And I'm pretty much at this point, I'm like, I'm gonna wait, and then I'm going to attack afterwards. So I'm sitting here and I'm waiting, and I'm pretty much checking my weapon because I want to be able to take out those little dudes with the glowy black hair. I want to take them out fast because they hit just as hard as every other NPC in this area, but they can stagger me. And then if they stagger me and another one hits me, that's a critical damage hit. So I don't want that to happen to me. So at this point I'm trying to gauge where the witch is from them and see if I can get in there without aggroing the witch, because that's the last thing I want. So what I do is I draw them back down the stairs just to be on the safe side. I just don't want to deal with the witch because the witch has all these ridiculously long range attacks. And so I'm like, alright, got everything handled. I'm going to take care of this witch. And, you know, it starts off good. They have, like I said, they have the ridiculous attacks that are all over the place. That's a grab. That will punish me if I'm not careful. And I think she actually gets me. Yep, right there. There we go. It does a bunch of damage. It's not ridiculously ruthless, but I do take a lot of damage. And then these guys, the 3 guys that come afterwards, I forgot they even existed. So I get surprised by them. They're like, oh, I'm gonna get you. Again, they push. They push really hard. So at this point, I'm just like, oh, I don't want to deal with you. I want to deal with the witch. So I rush and kill the 2, and then the 3rd one's there. And I'm trying to make sure I'm not in visible range of the witch, because I don't want her attacking me while I'm all the way over here, because she can reach me. As much as it seems like she won't be able to, she can reach me from there. And when you see me rolling a lot, the whole point is the fact that I'm trying to use invincibility frames. Invincibility frames make it so I can't get grabbed and I can't get hit. But the window for them, you have to get it spot on. Which you'll see I'm really bad at Pontiff because he's super aggressive. The guy in this area that's the boss, Pontiff, he's super aggressive. My timing for him is always off because his attacks wind up. So I roll when the wind up happens. And what I'm saying while fighting the switch is, as long as you stay on top of them, most of their attacks are useless. The only 2 you gotta really worry about is the grab and the fire pillar. But for Pontiff, he winds up his attacks, and when I try to roll, I roll before the attack even starts coming. So when he actually swings, I get killed. And I actually got angry and cussed because I can't use players. Like I said at the beginning of the playthrough, I can't use players, so I'm using NPCs. And NPCs are equal to garbage. They're useless and stupid. All the NPCs from FromSoft that they put in are friggin' useless. They're the worst thing ever. You're better like stringing yourself up from a noose than using them. Honestly, it's mind-numbingly annoying how bad and useless they are. So as I'm going on and I'm moving forward, I'm like, oh yeah, we're right near a bonfire. That's why I didn't want to risk things. And I'm saying there's a lizard down there and there's a miracle down there, and I'm going to come back for them. I'm not going to risk going for them now and lose the bonfire all the way up here, because I'm right next to it. Bonfire's right in the church of Yorshka bonfire. And that's that's like your main bonfire for this area. You will loop back to this 2 more times. And what I'm saying is that Henri should be up here. I don't know what's going on with my Henri story. I screwed up somewhere. Henri's not here. She should be here. She's not here. I'm supposed to be getting married to her in the game, which means that I take a sword and stab her in the face and take on her hollowing. And she gets to finally rest in peace. Because when you're hollowed, you are pretty much, you slowly go insane if you lose purpose. There's supposed to be a statue in that corner. There's not a statue in that corner. So the whole quest line for Henri is screwed up. I'm like, where's my Henri? Where's my Henri? I feel like I lost a kid. Can't find her. So I just move on. I'm like, I screwed up somewhere. I'm going to have to live with that. And that being said, I keep coming back because I'm like, just hoping she's there. But then I'm like, I got a lot of souls. Let's see if I can reload the area. Let's see if I can get her. Nothing happens. Nothing happens. Henri doesn't show up. I'm kind of crushed. I really wanted Henri to show up. So we come out of the cemetery. I'm like, yeah, see those guys that we were fighting earlier? They can close their eyes and they can ambush you. And like the whole area is loaded with ambushes. This guy here by the tree, if you went to grab the item and you didn't notice him, he would push you off the ledge. And I've had that happen to me in my first walkthrough. I went over, I was like, ooh, an item. And then I got pushed. And then here, like, you see me cautiously watching the tree. The reason I'm watching the tree is because there's our friend from earlier. He's back. And he wants vengeance. So he comes in super aggressive, and you know he's gonna punish me if he can. But he plays like a lot of PvP players do, but he's still kind of stupid. So he keeps on trying to push me because he can. He's got a weapon that's able to be used multiple swings. It's able to really come at you. I got a weapon that drains your stamina super fast. The reason I have it though is because it gives me the reach advantage. So I get him, then I start smacking him. And while he's going for his heal, I'm like, oh, you're going for your heal? Well then, get off the ledge. Goodbye. And there we go. And we get his axe. His axe is a strength axe, is the downside. So I can't use it. I could probably use it, but it's useless for me. It's not going to be as beneficial as the weapons that I'm running with right now. And then these guys, that's a red eye. Red eyes hit really hard, and these guys are aggressive. They're ruthless. They come at you so fast. So you gotta take that aggression, you gotta take advantage of it. And hopefully you can hit him enough to just take him out and stagger him and all that. I say to myself when I picked this up that I was gonna go and use it, and then I don't go and use it for a while, which is funny because I'm like, I really want that upgraded flask. So after taking care of the invader and everything, I'm like, I'm gonna go and use it. I'm gonna go see if I can get a level up. So here we are back at Firelink Shrine. I'm gonna level up. I think I give myself health for all my level ups that I do. I do health because my guy has piss all for health. So he needs some more health so he can take some more hits. But besides that, I like walk around there. Remember, I have to send Grey Rat out. So I'm gonna send him out. And then, like I said, back in the Deacons of the Deep area where Sigfrid loses his armor and you have to get it back for him, it's completely worth it because when you send Grey Rat out for this area, if you did not give Sigfrid his armor, the only other person who could save him is Patches the Hyena. I think it's just called Patches in this game. Patches is he's a scumbag. Anyways, he'll save Grey Rat if you don't have Sigfrid. I like Sigfrid because he's already there. He does the work, and I don't have to worry about him killing my Grey Rat, possibly, even though you never know. But yeah, as you can see, I said I was gonna use it. It's the first thing I do is I completely forget about it, and I'm just like, I'm gonna press forward now as fast as possible, get through this area, cause I need to. So here I go. I'm just pressing on. I'm like doing it relaxed, and as you can see, I'm going down the hill, and there's what I mean. You gotta pay attention to those glowy eyes. Those guys, though, if they close their eyes, will go completely invisible and you won't know where they are. It's a nightmare. On top of that, screw dogs. I hate dogs in Dark Souls. I think dogs are a cheap, easy thing to program to make it just hyper aggressive and run at you and jump at sporadic angles. I hate dogs in any Souls game. It doesn't matter what Souls game, they all have the same attack pattern, and they're the worst because they're just horrible. I hate them. And pretty much I rush this dog and I still get hit. So he stood up and he automatically hits me. That's why I hate them. They're the worst. And that doesn't even come close to like the next area. The next area you go into is loaded to the gills with invisible dudes. This area look at all them invisible guys. I'm just like, oh great. I hate this area. So I go ahead and I kill one, and then I'm like, I'm gonna just start slicing through. But for some reason, like the first attack connects, and then the second one doesn't. So I'm just trying to get these guys. And I'm trying not to take shipping damage, but you're gonna take shipping damage in this area because it's just always someone coming at you. So you can see I'm taking damage, lots of damage. And these guys don't hit as hard as the other enemies, but then they got moves like that just destroy your health. So I'm just going through, killing things, and I'm hoping for the best. And I think I've even saying like this area is loaded with ambushes. They set up guys up on pillars to drop down on you, and they use the guys that are standing up to lure you to them. So like this guy is standing up, there's a little dude right by his ankles that you wouldn't notice if you're trying to take him out. This guy that's standing up, he just reacts super fast. And then there's this guy sitting on the ground. There's a reason he's sitting on the ground, because there's a guy on the pillar. So I roll, lure him out, and I try to take him out. Doing a bad job. Kind of just like whiffing at the air, because you can't lock on them until you can see them. And it's kind of like this area is filled with Rosaria fingers that will have a ring. That kind of works the same way, where they have to be really close to you for you to be able to see them. So here we go. Put on my favorite ring, like I said, because you take no more falling damage unless it's falling damage that's going to kill you automatically, which I'm all for. I love the cat ring. So the reason I came up here is because there's items on the rafters. Clearly there's items everywhere in Dark Souls. You just have to look everywhere. And the reason the guys are taking damage from my kicks is because of the spiked armor I'm wearing on my character. Otherwise they wouldn't be taking any damage at all. And again, they have a guy on the rafters, and they're hoping that you're like too blinded by greed to notice him, because there's a treasure chest down below, and like there's a sign down there. People try to trick you by putting a sign down there so that way the guy can actually drop onto you. There's a lot of troll stuff like that in Dark Souls. And then I climb back up because I want to find my way to... There's a specific drop off that you wouldn't notice unless you came up through this path, because like who's looking over a ledge size? Because in Dark Souls, fall damage is unforgiving. Fall damage is unforgiving in Dark Souls and Demon Souls. It's very forgiving in Bloodborne, which I beat that game. I think there's only one boss I haven't fought in that game. And so I'm coming down here. The reason I'm rushing down here is because this lady, if she gets her full screen off, will aggro all the other invisible guys, and then they'll come rushing at you and kill you. So I get done with that. I get her, and I see no one else got aggroed, which I was thankful for. So I go ahead and start taking people out. There's a bunch of invisible guys all over the place. It's best to take care of them, because if you're facing away from them, you won't see them until after they hit you, which sucks. So I'm taking all these guys out, and I'm just like hoping that I'm not gonna get jumped. I keep on looking at the staircase because there's two of them that actually run up the staircase, and they try to attack you on the staircase. So I'm like being extra careful. I'm watching the staircase and I see that they notice me. So I pretty much go down. I'm like, alright, I'm going to come over here. I'm going to draw them out. And that's what I mean. With like you looking away, they are invisible completely if their eyes are shut. After they hit you, it's like you can see them for a little while. And then over here is an invisible wall with a nice little lizard in it. So lizard gives you rare resources, so you want to take them out. And then my least favorite enemy is down here. I'm gonna jump on top of her. It looks like a floating corpse, but it's not. It's a disgusting spider creature. And this is the swamp area where I said that the dog would jump you. So if you didn't kill the dog up on the bridge, the dog would jump down here, and as you can see, I have to roll just to make momentum through the area. Which is the worst, because it's encumbers you. So you have to roll if you want to get through the swamp fast. And the reason I go over here is because I know that there's a miracle over here. I think it's like greater heal or something like that. It's a heal spell. Most miracles in the game are heal spells. The only miracles that attack are lightning ones, and most of them are pretty weak and pretty useless, in my opinion. Miracles aren't that powerful in this one, while sorceries and pyromancies seem to get more powerful as the games went on. And as you can see, I'm moving really slow just walking in that. That would be your speed if you were dealing with that giant rat creature too on top of that in this water at that speed. It's a nightmare. It's terrifying, and it's really hard to fight him that way. So here I go. I'm heading further over here. Normally you can't go over here if you have a summon. But this is the distant manor, and you have to come here alone, and you can't get invaded in this area either. It's like a safe haven. But with that being said, when I come back through this area, I will have to come back through this area alone as well, which will make it a horrible experience, because they try to do ambush tactics. The majority of Dark Souls involves ambush tactics, where they catch you off guard or whatever, and it sucks a lot. Anyways, when you're coming in here, there's a ton of spider grudges, and I hate them. I hate them. Terrifying. So I'm taking out these guys and just like going, nope, 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 nope. Just don't want anything to do with them, period. And you know, I'm taking them out steadily, slowly, only dealing with the ones I have to, because there's no items amongst these creatures except for over to the left there. But besides that, there's nothing to pick up amongst these spider creatures, which I'm grateful for, because I don't like them. And then I'm like, oh, I don't have to deal with that. There's 3 of them over in that back corner. I actually stop, I think, and look at it. There's 3 of them over in that back corner. There's nothing there with them, but if you fail Grey Rat's mission, when you send him to Irithyll, he dies, and he'll be amongst those 3 over there. So I walk in here, and here's our buddy Sigfrid of Katarina, and, you know, I'm going to have a chat with him, because I love this guy.
Excuse me, I must have dozed off. It's rather warm in here. Well, hasn't it been all too long? It's good to see you. Oh, I seem to have missed my chance, so I, Siegwart of Katarina, offer my deepest gratitude. and a little surprise to go with it. It's all yours. I know. Won't you join me for dinner? I make a fine Esther soup. I've got some stewing right now. Even we undead deserve a little normalcy from time to time. And finally, upon this rendezvous, let us make a toast. To your valor, my sword, and our sworn duties. Long may the sun shine.
I just love him because he's an upbeat character. That spell he gave us is Emit Force. Pretty much is the equivalent of Force, which pushes people away. Emit Force allows you to pretty much toss it, so it's like a Jedi Force push. But pretty much I come back on talking to him and see what he is up to.
That reminds me, I've a grave promise to keep. Oh, sorry. I'm afraid I've cast a cloud over things. Well, I'm going to have myself a little nap. The only thing to do, really, after a nice toast.
Alright, so he's going to take his nap, and we're going to press forward. And the next room is pretty much another ambush setup to take advantage of you if you're unaware. Right above us, right there, you can see the bow a little bit, is a knight with a Dragon Slayer bow. And he pot shots at you if you just run out into the open, wide open area to run up to this guy to backstab him. So I don't do that. Instead, I decide to lure him over to me because I don't want to fight out in the open and get shot by giant arrows. So I'm going to just throw a spear at him. I pull him in. And then these guys are so horrible because they turn around fast and they hardly stagger, which makes them really hard enemies. So I'm trying to do the delicate dance, but as you can see, he's just swinging through stuff. He just has a normal sword, but he's just swinging through attacks because that's the way their characters are. They just can that, and they can block like on a pivot. So I'm trying to play the long game and get him to leave himself open so I can get a backstab or something off. And as you can see, I'm doing really poorly here. I'm not showing my skills at all. I'm getting frustrated at this enemy at this point, and I'm just wanting to get rid of him. Worst part is there's still two more. And like if he pulls up that shield like that, it means that he can just pivot on a dime and block all my attacks. So for this guy, we're looking at a tough situation because we're in a tight hallway, and I want to use the full length of it, but you can't, because if you do, the guy with the bow is just gonna punish you for getting out in the open. So you gotta fight where I'm at right now, where this wall and this railing are. And like I said, see, shield up, pivot on a dime, be able to block your attack. So I just keep on going for the backstabs just to get rid of them faster. And now I can go and deal with the bow guy. But the bow guy's not going to be any easier because he has a sword and shield, I think. And that means he can actually fight me. See? And they get you with that lightning attack, it pulverizes your health. And like their normal attacks already do a lot of damage. So here I am, I'm just kind of dancing around, trying to look for my openings. But I believe this one gets drawn out. He gets frosted from standing in the pots. The pots have frost in them. I don't want to get frost because that means that my stamina gets a slow regen. So I'm pretty much playing the long game. Just waiting for a proper opening to come along so that way I can take it. And oh, if I get too greedy, I'm going to get punished for it. The night will make sure of that. Now the whole reason I'm even up here and fighting this guy is because there's items to get. They're all safe. The chain's pointed in toward itself, so it's not a mimic. And these are all items I cannot use. Well, one of them I can use, the Wolf Ring, and the Divine Blessing I can use to heal myself. But the Wolf Ring is useless because it brings up poise, and poise means nothing since Dark Souls 1. Poise used to mean you could just keep on fighting, you wouldn't get staggered, and this one poise is irrelevant. It doesn't matter how much poise you have, you're still going to get staggered when you get hit. So, I'm coming up the staircase. I hate this area because it has dogs, and it has wizards. So it's got all the cheap things that are super annoying in any game. So you got the dogs that rush you up front, and then the piddly magic shots that are going to chew away your health. So I only have my magic healed. And it's horrible that they had to do this to make it challenging for this area. I think they could have come up with something better, but this is what they came up with. This is what they decided on. I hate dogs. That's just how I am. And then I get rushed by the dogs non-stop. I mean, it's just a horrible situation. There goes my tears. I have no heals. I have no chance to heal because of the dog. If I get hit by the mage, I'm gonna die, but the dog's gonna be the one that gets me. Alright. I keep on thinking the dog got me. It's a little bit past this. I'm fighting a dog when I die, but I'm gonna die up here real quick. So there's that. There's one guy pod shotting at me. I'm like, I'm gonna take care of the dog that's right here. To know the layout of the map, I'm down to 1 health. And yeah, the dog gets me. Because if you take magic damage or any damage while you're attacking, it's considered critical, so you get double that damage. So I got weaned down to 1 health. And I had to come all the way back. So at this point, I'm like, forget it. Don't get mad. It's a cheap layout. It's intended to be that way. It's intended to have you use your brain to outwit the video game. So I just decide I'm going to rush all the way back to where I was. And I'm not going to fight anything. And with that being said, I tried to do that, but the enemy lock-on is ridiculous. It's aggravating at some points where like an enemy's doing a rush attack that should be going in a straight line, and you roll out of that rush attack, and they just make that 90-degree turn out of nowhere and connect. So I just decided I'm gonna run back to where I was. The painting on the wall that Knight was looking at was of Guinevere from the very first Dark Souls. Anyways, I get all the way up here. I'm like, I'm going to put tears back on, and I'm going to go back up. and I hope for the best. So I activate the dog ambush and I try to get them to come down to me because I don't want to get pot shotted. You see, I'm switching it out back and forth between the two dogs because they got a fast recovery. Like, they got ridiculous hitboxes. So I get rid of the dogs. I come back up. I'm going to take care of the mage. And I decide to myself that I'm going to draw out the other dogs to me. So I'm going to go up the stairs and try to get them to come out, which is what I'm doing. And then one comes, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to get away from the guy that's shooting the magic so I don't get hit. Was an idiot and took a swing when I was trying to took a hit while I was trying to take down the dogs. The one right there has got frost, so I draw them pretty much all the way down the staircase. And then I come back up to deal with the magic users. So I get rid of the dog. That was my main goal. And then I find a spot where they can't hit me. And then I make a break for it in between the attacks. So there we get that all handled. Grab our item. And then we get the first loop around of the two that lead back to the Church of Yorshka. So I take my time, I wait for them to get a little bit further away before I run across back to the Church of Yorshka. I don't want to get attacked just for running there. I sit down and replenish my resources, and after that everything's going to come back. So with everything coming back, I'm like, alright, I'm going to do the minimum amount of work to continue forward, because the next loop's not that long. So all I gotta do is make it up to the next area, which is another horrible ambush area. Also, this dog somehow sees me when I step outside. He's not even looking at my character, not even looking my direction, but for some reason he aggroed on me. So I had to take him out. And then the guy right there aggroed on me because of the dog. So I had to take him out. My thing is, I don't want to drag those invisible guys around because they're going to chase me and they're going to destroy my health. They hit really hard if they stab you. And then this area up here is another ambush area. It's like every area you go to in this area has an ambush ready for you. So that is an ambush area in there. You can see one guy, but there's actually 5 guys on the staircase, 3 guys up top. It's if you don't know that this ladder allows you to climb up behind them, it's a completely unfair chance at fighting them. So I go ahead and just start getting to work, cutting everyone down. The thing is once I fall down, I decide to get out of there because I got frostbitten, and I know that guys are going to start trying to come at me. I'm lucky I was moving still, because if they had both hit me, I would be dead. And then there you go, see? Also, I'm doing this all unember, which means I lose 25% of my health, but I don't have to worry about getting invaded. So it's a toss-up. Do you lose health so you don't get invaded, or do you continue to ember up and risk the chance of getting invaded? So I'm trying to complete this area, so I decide to go with the less health, so that way I don't have to deal with getting invaded. So that's everyone in there. That counts for all of them, the 3 up top and the 5 on the staircase. We're almost to Pontiff Sullivan. We have to grab the shortcut to loop back to Yorshka Church. And we have to deal with 2 Pontiff Knights up here. One of them is a new one who has a sickle. I think he's the only one in this area that has that sickle. And right there, I get popped. And as you can see, if he catches you in that, you're done. He'll just keep whipping that back and forth non-stop until he gets you. And then on top of that, the other one for some reason decides to get involved from way across. And so now I have to deal with dragging this guy down the staircase. And if I want to get certain attacks off, like backstabs and stuff, they won't work on staircases because of a whole like verticality problem. So after doing that, I heal up and I shield break this guy and I stab him, and I'm gonna keep pushing. I'm gonna keep pressing him to try to take him out. Problem is it's so much reach. It has so much reach, it's ridiculous. And he abuses that attack, I think, too. So that's taken care of. And from there, I'm like, alright, cool. We're at the home stretch. Make sure I'm not missing anything over here. If FromSoft puts an area in there that you can adventure into, you want to adventure into there, because there might be something. And then these guys, for some reason, at the bottom of the staircase, he activated for some reason at the bottom of the staircase. And then he's got a friend around the corner. So I keep on trying to keep these guys in mind because they're invisible. They're little dotty eyes, little things you can see. And until they're on top of you, they don't become visible. So I open up the final shortcut. It leads all the way back to the Church of Yorshka as well. So at that point, you know, Pontiff Knight sees me, but he's not rushing me. And thankfully, they made the NPCs at least reasonably fair. He saw me, he continues to look my way. I'm like, oh, I see you over there. And I decide to see if I can sneak up behind him. Because I got the cat ring, I don't make any sounds also when I land. I don't think so, at least. Because I dropped all the way down. Like I said, the cat ring is one of the best rings in the game because you don't take fall damage. So I take advantage of this. I drop all the way down and I sneak up behind him and get a backstab off. And then I'm going to pretty much one-shot him after that. This is an illusionary wall, so that we can get an item. And there's one more thing. There's a Son's Firstborn ring up there on that stand. I want that. So that makes miracles greatly more powerful. And since I'm running a faith build, I want that. It doesn't really help with the heals. I don't think so. But it definitely helps with the attack spells, because the attack spells are trash. They're really, really weak compared to like other classes' spells. You see, I'm going to check that out to see. I thought that was the Sun Princess ring, I think it's called. I thought it was the one that heals you gradually. And then, like, the witch over here has an item next to him, so I want to take them out. Do that plunging attack, do the heavy attack. You just, if you can do it, stay on top of them. And then, of course, they dropped an item for me. You can farm them for their gear. And their gear is some of the best fire and magic resistant armor you can get. So, like I said, we're going to be running back to the Church of Yorshka. It's right here around the corner. So there's our final loop back. And the boss's room is up there. So I sit down, and I'm pretty much trying to mentally prepare myself for the complete and utter nonsense I'm about to go through. And I mean that because Pontiff Sullivan is hyper aggressive. He hits really hard. He's hyper aggressive. So I come back here. I'm like, I'm going to see if I can level up.
Welcome home, speaker.
And then, of course, I'm going to put it into my health, which is what I do, because I have no health. Like I said, I have piss all for health. So I do that, and then I'm like, alright, I'm going to head back. Still haven't used the bone shard in my inventory like an idiot. The bone shards make it so that way your Estus flasks fill more when you use them. And me being a moron, I completely forget that thing even exists. Even though I pick it up, I'm like, awesome. Can't wait to use this so that way I can get better flasks. So I just rush off and I'm like, oh, well, if I use the heavy weapon, I know I can take Pontiff Sullivan on. Wrong. I was completely wrong. I'm gonna get destroyed. But you know, it is a learning experience. I haven't used a Dex character in a while. I've been using a lot of like strength something builds. I have a strength mage build. I have a completely mage build. I have a multifaceted like Sapoto who has multifaceted magic uses. You can use practically every faith, every miracle, every pyromancy, and every magic attack. That character has no health. The game plan with that character is you stay as far away as possible from everyone. But yeah. I decided to put on tears, pick things up. I'm deciding on what to do with this person down the staircase because I know I'm going to have to deal with them. I'm kind of an idiot because I could have just picked up my NPCs and then gone into the boss room because they take a long time to get back up the staircase. So with that being said, instead I decide to, I guess, get vengeance on the fact that they have beaten the living daylights on my character, and I take them out. Now, like I said, I don't have Omri. It really sucks. She's really good for this fight. The two NPCs I do have are Pale Shade and Blackham Logan. Is that his name? But they're both useless. They're both useless at this boss fight. And like I said, I was looking for Henri because Henri's over there in that third spot, and there's no Henri there. So with that being said, I'm really sad because I don't have the best person here. Blackhand Logan. There we go. Blackhand Gothard. He's useless. They're both useless. They both suck. So we're going in this fight, and I'm like, alright, let's go. And he just punishes me. Like, I get some good ones, I get some good getaways, but then he just starts pressing me hard. Well, it takes me out, and as you can see, he's got me in a panic. So I start using things I'm not supposed to be using like an idiot. That's okay. Starts taking everyone in the squad out. As you can see, they do like no damage. None whatsoever. They're useless. The only one that's useful is Henri. Henri's a monster. But I do get to phase 2 the first time. That makes me feel better than that. The second time, oh, he just destroys me. Completely and utterly, he just destroys me. So in phase 2, he summons a shadow clone of himself, and what's nice about the shadow clone is it advertises his attacks a mile ahead. So the shadow clone does the attack first, then Pontiff does it. As you can see, he just did the same attack. So it's nice to have that, because also if you take out his clone, you can then take advantage of that. But as you can see, I'm not taking advantage of anything. I'm just getting totally dunked on. It's horrible. Anyways, everyone on my team died. This is why I say the NPCs are useless. And then Pontiff's just gonna wreck me. And I have no choice but to just take it at this point, because he's really, yeah, there we go. That's all you gotta see. So at this point, we're back into the fight, and I'm just upset. I'm upset with the NPCs, the fact that they suck. I'm upset with the fact that my character's not doing the damage, and the fact that I just have a genuinely hard time with Pontiff Sullivan. He, like, as you can see, I'm getting frustrated and I'm getting beaten up. So I grab my souls. And my team's just getting destroyed by him, because these NPCs are garbage. So I'm trying to do as much damage as I can, and then I just get punished for being reckless. So that's death number 2. And there's death 3. So at this point, Pontiff Sullivan's getting to me. I'm getting really upset because the NPCs aren't doing a lot of damage. I'm not doing a lot of damage. I don't know what's going on. So I'm getting frustrated. And at this point, I realize how sloppy I'm getting as I just make the run to the boss room. I get smacked around by some NPCs pretty easily. So I'm like, alright, well, I guess I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna step away. I'm gonna go back. And then I'm gonna see what I can do to make myself better, and then I'll fight Pontiff. Cause at this point I'm wasting resources, I'm getting beaten up, and nothing good is happening from any of this. I think it was this guy that made me just go no. Yeah, it was this guy that made me go no. So I just realized how sloppy I was getting, and I was like, no, I need to go back. I need to recollect my thoughts and come fight him when I am more prepared. So I go back and I upgrade some gear, and then I'm gonna come back to Pontiff Sullivan. So that's exactly what I do. I go back to Firelink, upgrade some stuff, then I come back to Pontiff Sullivan.
That is good, wasn't he?
What I was doing there is I was trying to find if I could infuse my weapon with lightning. I was seeing if I could do lightning infusion. I couldn't do that, so instead I'm just like, I'm gonna go and do the upgrade. And then I was like, hopefully that will give me enough of an edge to beat Pontiff solo then and get this over with, because I was frustrated at this point and just wanted it done. So it was here at this point I was like tryhard where I was like, okay, I'm gonna put tears on early, gonna get my flask filled up, and I'm gonna go in there and I'm gonna destroy Pontiff. And I think I got pretty much quiet for this whole part of the recording that I was doing because I was pretty much focusing on just the wind. So I pushed forward, got into the fight, and just went absolutely silent during the fight. And I'm going to do that exactly when my character gets into the fight. I'm going to stop talking and doing the voiceover and just have you guys experience the like tension I was feeling of just being absolutely silent and trying to beat this guy who had already kicked my junk in a couple of times. So I'm gonna pick up again the horrible NPCs because they're the only thing I have at my disposal. It'd be better off if Squinjule was here, but he, like I said, he went to spend time with family, and so I get my two crappy summon partners and I'm like, alright, into the boss fight. And then from this point on, I just went silent. I made sure the entire situation was perfect. It was right here where I was like, big old sigh of relief. It's over. I can call it a day. And I can, you know, finish up. Anyways, thank you for watching my video. I hope you enjoyed. Leave a like and a comment. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. And I hope you have a good day.